Hi, I'm Brad Pfeffer from Sugar Research Australia. In this cane clip, we're going to talk about yellow canopy syndrome with researchers from Sugar Research Australia and sugarcane grower Ian Shepherdson in the Burdekin.
We're at Ian Shepherdson farm at Homehill. Very nice symptom expressions here, something that we haven't seen before, where in the same paddock we have a sharp divide between YCS symptomatic plants and asymptomatic plants. Yeah, we've never had this opportunity to sample in close proximity plants that appears to be completely clean of the problem, and then plants that expresses the symptoms so clearly defined with no secondary effect. Usually when we see YCS, there's also a lot of secondary problems coming in, and that's not the case here. So I'm very excited that the samples we take here should take us much closer to an answer on what are the things that are present in the YCS symptomatic samples versus the controls. That's the one exciting thing, and it's also the first time that the team samples variety Q240. We've never really included 240 in our samples, but because the symptom expression is so clear here, we decided to really actively sample this field, and it will continue for the next week or two. We will just measure everything that we've learned in the last 2 years working on YCS, validating and discarding some of the things which we have discovered in the last 2 years. So overall, just a very, very exciting trial to analyze. That is all C3, C3, and then it becomes C4, all the way to that.
We've had YCS in this block, yeah, YCS right through the farms. Since the first time we noticeably saw, not in this block, but in some other blocks over further, 2012 was the first time that we noticeably saw it. So we'd probably say over $100,000 in the first year. So 2000 and I've got to get my dates right. 2012, we only grew 13,000 tonne, and our average is 17. So we would expect 17. Lost 4,000 tonnes straight off the top. We would suspect that's what that was, and then we've come back slowly. So we've come back a long way. We're back up to 17 last year, but to have still significant effects. People often ask me, what is it, the tonnes or the CCS? Mostly tonnes. We have a early CCS issue where I tend to think it doesn't want to grow at this time of year, which is February, and it starts to grow late next month, April, and when we start harvesting, it's just not mature. So that's the main notice, is the significant effect that we see. The CCS comes back in later. So the first block that we really looked at hard cut, I'm going to do the sums, 23 tonne the acre, so 75 tonne to the hectare, which is really, really poor for this area of second returns. Sort of cut nearly double that, but it cut 60.5 sugar. So we're in the Burdekin, so that sounds high, and it is high. That was cut late in the season, so we did quite well CCS wise. Look at that young leaf there.
Yeah, and even this guy here.
Yeah, whilst we've recovered to a degree, there's still something going on. It's still not performing as well as it should. So still need to, and it'll come back. There's no question about that. So yeah, we've got 3 trials, major trials sitting on our place at the moment, and the one that we're doing right now is just from Brisbane, collecting leaf samples.
Every one of the teams will sample from the site, and this week we had UWES here with us. And that's a change in strategy, is to just collect one set of samples and then do all the analyses on that single set, which again should give us a much better ability to overlay all the different data sets. Yeah, quite a variety of methodologies that we deploy. So in some cases, like you said, we will take leaf punches where we really want high resolution. We will punch on that boundary between yellow and green. So is there something in the green portion of the leaf that's not present in the green, and then punch on the other side of the leaf where yellow is not set in yet. But we will also in some cases collect the whole leaf, where we say, okay, it's not just that boundary layer, but one leaf has developed the symptoms and another leaf will be clean. Very often we see that sort of thing on the same stool, and it's very difficult to get it separated between plants, and this is what makes this trial this paddock very interesting, because you have a spatial separation of the symptoms within the paddock. Yeah, they were collected here, went straight into liquid nitrogen, then on dry ice, and this afternoon we fly back with the samples on dry ice, and it then goes immediately into minus 80 degree storage at home. And then next week the task really starts to separate the materials, especially where we have yellow and green on the same leaf. We will try to separate those materials. It will then be extracted for a variety of applications. Some of that material goes to Melbourne, some of it will go to the US, some of it will be analysed in Brisbane, and a lot of it will go to University of Western Sydney for analysis there.